Hello everyone and welcome to our latest Whirlwind Heights Forecast Center update. In this forecast, I am going to discuss significant severe weather, a potential moderate risk of severe weather for the Ohio Valley today, where we could see significant damaging winds. We're talking wind gusts up to 85 miles per hour. There's also an isolated tornado risk today. Tomorrow is a slight risk of severe weather for Virginia, North Carolina, where we have another slight risk of severe weather, and we can see some more isolated to scattered severe weather tomorrow. Then this is going to shift up north as a coastal low pressure system, which is going to be bringing significant flooding to the northeast, where I wouldn't rule out eventually somewhere a moderate risk of excessive rainfall or something along those lines. We're also going to talk about a heat wave that's been going on forever now. And it's still going on right now. It's still causing significant heat in the Great Plains as it's shifting back down to Oklahoma and Texas. And then we're also going to talk about a really dangerous situation that's about to happen in Hawaii, where we are about to have a pretty bad flooding event with Tropical Storm Fausto, which its path is shifting back down to the south, so it looks like it will make more significant impacts on Hawaii. We could see storm surge, we could see flooding. It's not a good situation. And then we also have a Category 5 hurricane out there in the Pacific Ocean, and that is Hurricane Geneva, which is expected to remain a Category 4 throughout today. But without much more to talk about in this intro, let's roll the forecast. Alright guys, I'm going to start off like every forecast with our SPC outlook for today. For today, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather for the Ohio Valley, including Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan. And there's also a slight risk here in the Great Plains. And this is for we have a 2% tornado threat for Illinois, Indiana, Western Ohio, Western Michigan, and Wisconsin. So generally, we may see a few isolated tornadoes, but generally our tornado risk is low. We have a 30% CIG1 wind risk, and this is where it gets dangerous because the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned how they might have to upgrade this to a CIG2 or even a moderate risk of severe weather. So you need to be ready if you live in this area. There is significant damaging winds on the way. We can see damaging winds of up to 85 miles per hour in isolated locations. We also have a 15% hatched hail risk over here in Nebraska, South Dakota, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, and a sliver of Montana there, where we can see some significant winds there as well, and 15% hail risk here for eastern Wisconsin, northeastern Michigan, northwestern Indiana, southwestern Michigan. Alright, let's go back to outlooks. All right. In our day 2 outlook, right now is just a simple slight risk of severe weather here for Virginia, North Carolina, so generally across the east, a part of the East Coast, the central East Coast here. Let's go to our tornado risk, which we have a 2% tornado risk for the mid-Atlantic here. A few isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out, but generally our risk is low. And then we have a 30% wind risk from North Carolina and Virginia. We could see a hatching here, and in that case, we would see an enhanced risk of severe weather. So generally that's a 30% wind risk here. So that means there's a 30% risk of winds on a 25-mile radius. We have a 15% hail risk as well. So generally, tomorrow is not as concerning, but I wouldn't rule out an enhanced risk tomorrow. And our day 3 outlook is not much, just some marginal risk. And then there's no more outlooks after that. Let's go to our excessive rainfall outlooks, which for today is just a simple 15%. No, let's say 3. Alright, day 1, it's just marginal risk. There's not much. And our day 2, I do think we're going to see a significant flooding event happen in the Northeast starting tomorrow, where we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall for eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York, so Manhattan, Connecticut, where we could see some potentially significant flooding. This one, I don't think is going to be upgraded to a moderate risk. For this one, honestly, I wouldn't rule out a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. I mean, it is a very concerning flooding risk, and our day 2 and 3 equivalent for a 48-hour period slight risk could be equivalent to that of a 24-hour period moderate risk of excessive rainfall. I would give that about a 50-50 of being an actual moderate risk of excessive rainfall. But what I do think will eventually become an excessive rainfall, or a moderate risk of excessive rainfall, is the Midwest risks out here, starting with our day 4 outlook, which is a slight risk of excessive rainfall for the Midwest. And you may say that's not a lot. Well, this is a day 4 outlook, so it's a pretty dang large area too, where honestly I say that there's a good risk of excessive rainfall, possibly even a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. And then I think that our day 5 could that there's a very good chance along the Mississippi River Valley that we could see a moderate risk of excessive rainfall here for Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, somewhere in this area, where we could see excessive rainfall. It's pretty dang concerning. We're going to continue to update you on this in the coming days. And then let's go to our... So, yeah, that's your risk for excessive rainfall. Alright, and then now what I'm going to do is I usually do apparent temperatures, or your actual temperatures, not the temperature anomaly. But in this case, I probably will, because this could actually give you a very good demonstration of... I mean, I just realized that this just is way better, because I just noticed that this heat wave has actually shifted to the north, where we're talking temperatures 33 degrees above average. We're talking possibly up to 35 degrees above average. And this is going to start shifting south again, but this isn't something that's going to go into Texas and Oklahoma. As you can see, this is just I mean, temperature anomaly is kind of hard to read here, because I don't really see what's making sense about this. It's easier to understand these. Here's this. Alright, let's just go to our actual temperatures, and then I'll show you your apparent temperatures. But this heat wave looks like it's shifting to the south, where we have temperatures right now, where we're going to have temperatures in Kansas up to 112 degrees widespread, and isolated locations will probably get around 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll continue to shift to the south, and there will continue to be a heat wave into Texas. It looks like it'll downtrend a bit, and this might be where it ends. I'm not sure. Or the GFS might just be showing that it just goes back up north and intensifies again. So, as you can see here, that is just a flat-out crazy heat wave that's happening. And now let's go over our apparent temperatures here, because this one's kind of wild. So this would be like our feel-like temperatures. We have a widespread 110 degrees in this dragon's head right here. So as you can see, here's your area right here. So you got that dragon's head, and you just got the spike. You just got that little horn on the top of its head. This is the mouth. This literally looks like a dragon. Back on topic. We will see isolated locations up to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and this will continue. Is that a dragon larva? Anyways, it will continue where we'll again see widespread temperatures up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit in isolated location, or that will be in isolated locations here across the south again, and we'll continue to shift south where we're going to continue to see that risk of high temperatures. So, yeah. Stay tuned. We're going to continue to update you on this heat wave, which has been pretty crazy. We've been talking about it a lot lately. So, yeah, be ready for that. Alright. Now, let's go over the tropical storm risk. Let's go here to Tropical Storm Fausto, which is right now a Category 1 hurricane, and it's probably going to turn down to a tropical storm. We've been talking about this for a little bit, and it's expected to make impacts on Hawaii. So where the path has actually been shifting south again, it looks like this thing could make impacts on Hawaii. So I'd be ready, guys. So be ready, because Hawaii could experience some coastal flooding, some storm surge. So, I mean, it is a very dangerous situation. We'll continue to update you on this as this gets closer and closer to impacting Hawaii as a tropical storm. So, yeah, we'll stay tuned. And then there's actually a Category 5 hurricane right now in the Pacific Ocean. I think it's a Category 5. I cannot tell you for certain. But I do know it was a Category 5 at one point. Whether it's a Category 5 or a Category 4, it is extremely well organized. Right here, this is Hurricane Geneva. The eye is about 30 miles wide or so. And so, obviously, it's a very intense hurricane. But I'm not expecting this to impact any major population centers where, like, tons of people live. As for the Tropical Storm Fausto risk, I mean, there are islands here that may be impacted by this, but, I mean, overall, I don't even know where these islands are at, but like, here's one island. I mean, it's not going to impact anything major population center, so honestly, Hurricane Fausto may make more impacts on Hawaii than the impacts from Hurricane Geneva, even though the Hurricane Geneva is stronger. Geneva, holy crap, guys, what? 100, this will weaken down to a Category 4 before eventually, I think it will remain a hurricane though for the next few days, before eventually it'll probably weaken down to a tropical storm. So, that's Hurricane Geneva. If you're traveling through this area, I mean, I would delay your plan or make a different route, because I don't really want you going through these conditions, okay? You're not a hurricane flyer. I cannot speak today. Hurricane flyer, you're not a hurricane flyer. You probably need to stay out of the way of this. So, yeah, but besides that, and unless you're a viewer watching from this island, which I'm not, which I'd be shocked if someone is, but unless you're watching for that island, there's not too much concern here. I mean, there might actually be some high waves here in Mexico where we already have convection out there. So, I mean, yeah, that's a little risky. You already got high waves with these storms out here, and you got potential high waves from this hurricane, which is only about, 500 miles from the coastline, so, yeah. Alright. So here, I'm gonna go to our GFS again, and this time I'm gonna go over our jet stream. Because the 300 millibar winds actually show us the tropical storm activity, and this is Hurricane Geneva right now, which was a very intense Category 5 hurricane, and probably still is, and will continue to be a very intense Category 4 to 3 hurricane, and it's not going to weaken down from a major hurricane until around for the next 48 hours. So, and after that, though, there is not much tropical activity here in the Pacific Ocean, at least what the GFS is showing here. So I feel like the GFS was just such correct about everything that just happened. So, but let's go to the jet stream here in the United States, which right now we do have this ridge that's set up. I'm trying to draw this. There is a ridge that's set up, which is what's bringing that insane heat, and that's going to continue, but I do think eventually that's going to break down, and we're going to see some significant severe weather here in the northeast Ohio Valley, and generally across this area that I'm about to draw, or circle. Right here is where I think we'll continue to see severe weather over the next few weeks. It's not going to be like super significant severe weather, but I do think that we're going to see some severe weather out here on the East Coast, Northeast, Ohio Valley, and maybe the Midwest. And then the GFS actually shows a couple different tropical storms here forming in the Atlantic Ocean. So, like right here, I'm pretty sure it's showing a tropical storm or something, or maybe a tropical depression here in the Atlantic Ocean. But that means it's pretty far out. We don't know for sure how this is going to play out. So stay tuned. We're going to update you. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to continue to update you on this. And that'll be the end of today's forecast. If you enjoyed this forecast, or if you want to spread the word out there, share this video. You don't have to, but I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.